everybody, and welcome to another video. So in this video we're going to be kicking off my new Age of Sigmar series called Zero to Hero. Let's get a brew, get comfortable, and let's jump into what this crazy idea is. Okay, for anybody who is new to the channel, I have been a big fan of Age of Sigmar since the very first day it launched. Way back when. I remember getting my two launcher boxes of the Stormcast Eternals and Khorne, and I traded all of my Khorne stuff with my friend Peter Pratt's Stormcast Eternals, and we basically, on the day that they launched, we sat there and we built, and then we started playing games. I have a lot of fond memories of Age of Sigmar from that first year, when there was no points and it was literally just a weird, crazy game where we spent most of the time trying to balance armies and playing some pretty cool games. Had a lot of fun. So obviously since August I've not really played, and since getting into other games, getting back into playing Warhammer 40k, recollecting the Horus Heresy, really jumping into Warhammer the Old World, I've kind of missed Age of Sigmar. Age of Sigmar has been my main game for the better part of nearly, 8-9 years, and I've mainly played just that game for a long period of time, and I kind of do miss it. And obviously I don't own any armies anymore, and I'm not playing games, and I want to change that. So I come up with thinking, how can I get back into it and incorporate the channel at the same time? Because obviously content on the YouTube channel is an important thing if you're going to do content, so makes sense. So I thought to myself, how about I have a plan? I'll challenge myself while 4th edition is still relatively new to basically do something that I've not really done before. So I kind of come up with this idea of Zero to Hero. And the idea is to take a faction, an army, and learn to play it, build, paint, and learn to play it properly, and take it to tournament glory, getting the big shinies. Now, I will just give a disclaimer right now. I am not a great player. I am not a top level player. So this is very much, I'm a normie. I'm quite a narrative player. I've rightfully being accused that I generally look at battles on the tabletop of how they should flow and do and work in reality. So I generally go out and try to crush my enemies, kill them, destroy them, and completely forget that it is an objective based game that basically relies you on capturing the flags and scoring points. So this is going to be kind of a way for me to become a better player, and ultimately to give you some fun content along the way. So yeah, I'm not an amazing player. I'm probably middle of the road at best. In fact, the reality is I've only ever had a 3-0 once, and I've only ever been on the podium once, and I came third, and that was with that said 3-0. And that wasn't even with my army, that was with somebody else's army, of some Lumineth Realm Lords and a couple of cows. It was pretty cool. So yeah, so don't expect this to be, some high-end content from a really good player, because that's really what I'm not. I'm very much like the vast majority of players. I play, I understand the game and the nuances of it, and that's pretty much about it. So hopefully when I start doing content on the chosen faction and I talk about lists and tournaments and tactics and everything else that I've learned and picked up along that way, it'll be a little bit relatable, because I'm at the same level as the vast majority of you, and this might help some players become a little bit better at what they're doing. It's all well and good being a top class tournament player and trying to part that information onto everybody else, but the vast majority of these players think very, very differently from the rest of us. Like, I can play games here against some really, really amazing players here in Northern Ireland, and they play the game at a whole different way to how we would, like normal people would play. It's very, very interesting to watch, and be on the other side of the table from it, but it's also incredibly different. So this challenge, 0 to hero, I have a number of rules that I've put in place, and those rules are very, very simple. So the first rule is that whatever army that I pick, I have to play for the entire edition of 4th edition. All right, this is it. Whatever faction I go for, that's what I'm playing, for events and things like that. Now, that's kind of cool. So we're going to be getting into the faction in a minute. And secondly, for content-wise, it's going to be making hobby content and everything else on the army, plus sort of lists and reports on events and stuff like that. You know, it'll kind of keep you as much engaged as I possibly can, and hopefully we can learn and engage along the way. Now, the next rule, there are 3 rules in a sense. The challenge is only complete once I get onto the podium at an event during 4th edition. At any point from now until the end of 4th edition that I get on that podium, either 3rd, 2nd or 1st, that's the challenge complete, and I've completed my challenge. All right. So this could be the very last day of 4th edition for the very last tournament of the edition, and if I get a podium finish, I'm done. I've completed it. If not, then I failed the challenge, but we've probably learned a lot of things along the way. Now, the last one is the faction. Now, I thought, I'll get the channel engaged. I'll do a little bit of a poll, and yeah, so I put this up, and that massively backfired on me. So basically, I explained what it is, and welcome to the 0 to hero, and this was the question. You can pick any army I like. That was what I was hoping for, but no. Can only pick an army that I have never collected or played before. Well. I have been doing content long enough now, either on Twitch and YouTube, to know that this was probably going to be the outcome, but I was really hoping that people would probably want to see me pick any faction that I wanted, but no, they've decided to do this. And now I'm going to go through now some of the factions, and this is going to be really quite startling. So we'll jump over onto the Age of Sigmar page, and then we'll go through the factions that I've played and the ones and collected and the ones that I've never touched before. I've kind of already done this, so I already know roughly what this is going to look like. But yeah, this shows that I clearly have an issue. Tom, I agree, I do have hobby Tourette's, and hopefully this will fix said issue going forward. So let's have a little look. We'll just pull this down here a little bit, because we're going to be really using this area of the screen here. So we'll go to the Age of Sigmar, which we are at, and then we'll bring up this bar. So we'll start off with order. So order, we've got the order factions. So Cities of Sigmar, yes, collected them, went to events with them, played lots of games with them, really liked them, but they were very not me. So they're obviously gone. Daughters of Cain, never ever collected, never played them. Marathi and the Bow Snakes is obviously an interesting faction, quite like the look of the army. So yeah, very cool. Fire Slayers, played, collected, painted a 2,000 point within a 6-week period. It was kind of fun challenge. Ideneth Deepkin, done them a few times. Caradron Overlords, done them a few times. Lumineth Realm Lords, done them a few times. Seraphon, that the last Northern Irish GT, I taken a fully painted Seraphon army. I have content on painting, speed painting Seraphon up on the channel. Stormcast Eternals, over all 4 editions, I have pretty much had a Stormcast army at some point in its time. Multiple armies. In fact, 4th edition is probably the only edition that I've not really done a Stormcast army, although I do have a pile of the starter set launch box Stormcasts already sat there, and was probably thinking about doing them. And Sylvaneth, I've been there, seen it, done it. Right. Death. So Death is an interesting one. So we've got Flesh Eater Courts is a faction I've never touched or done. Nighthaunt, I would probably say the same, but I'm going to class these as that I have collected them, because I did at one point sort of stockpile a lot of Nighthaunt with the view of maybe doing them, and then eventually I started offloading them and using them as like practice for blending and stuff like that. OC Bone Reapers, yes, I did actually have an army of OC Bone Reapers at one point, and I've also started and failed to collect Soulblight Gravelords in the past. In fact, I even have a set of Soulblight Gravelords dice still sat in my dice bag. So, out of all of them, Flesh Eater Courts is the death faction that would be there. Now, Chaos. Blades of Corn, yep, done multiple times. In fact, Scarbrand is sat on my shelf to be worked on. They were an idea at the end of 4th edition, the end of 3rd edition to jump into. Disciples of Tzeentch are a faction I've never looked at, although the Magic Chicken is definitely appealing. Heathen Knights of Slesh, done. Mighty Kingdom of Nurgle, done multiple times. Skaven, never touched. Never touched in Skaven, never touched Skaven in Warhammer Fantasy Battle either. In fact, Skaven are a faction that I've never been anywhere near. I think I own one model, and that was to paint up for somebody. Yeah, and that was it. So yeah, it's like Skaven is like very, very never done them. And Slaves of Darkness, yeah, multiple times. You know, you got to love the Chaos Warriors. Played them in Warhammer: The Old World and Age of Sigmar. Now, Destruction. The Gloomspite Gits, never touched them. Now, I'm going to just say this now. The new Gitmob models look amazing, but I've seen the rules. They suck ass, so it's not happening. As much as I would love to do these absolutely amazing models and find an excuse to start collecting these Wolf Riders and everything else, that's probably not going to happen. So yeah, it's not. Next is the Ogre Tribes. I have collected Ogre Tribes a few times. I was tempted to do them again in regards to the Glutton spam list with a couple of butchers. Running and charging Gluttons sounds really, really fun. So, you know, that was an idea. Orruk Walklands. If I was picking my own army, I would probably go for Orruk Walklands. Walklands are an army that I have been very successful with in the past. I understand how that plays. I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan of the new book. I think the new book is a little bit weak in regards to what it is. It's basically a copy and paste of the index. It's kind of lost a little bit of its sort of punch from like 2nd, 3rd edition. But, you know, it is what it is. And Sons of Behemoth I have collected in the past. I had 2 Mega Gargants and a couple of Ale Guzzlers at one point, and eventually I offloaded all of those models over a period of time. So yeah, that's it. So basically we're down to a few. We have Daughters of Cain for Order. We have basically Flesh Eater Courts for Death. We have Skaven and Tzeentch for Chaos, and then Destruction we have the Gits, the Goblins. Now, all pretty cool looking factions with some pretty cool looking models. Now, I will say that when it comes to the factions that I've not ever collected, one of the biggest ones there that does jump out to me is the Skaven, purely because I have never collected Skaven. I've never played Skaven, and I have never really gone anywhere near them. And they are such a big part of Warhammer lore, and they do kind of appeal to me. The new miniatures are very, very nice. Now, I will say that one of my favourite Skaven units of all time are these guys, right up here. These guys up here, the Storm Vermin, and this new character model is amazing. So, do you know what I probably will do is I will probably do Skaven. It has some pretty nice big centerpiece models for me to paint. Thanquil, I'm a big Gotrek and Felix fan, so actually being able to get a miniature of Thanquil is really, really cool. Critic, the Foul Blade, is a really nice model. And obviously the big man himself, Visic that is a really cool centerpiece model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Skaven, and we will do Skaven, and that will be it. So how this is going to work, I can only play this army now for the rest of 4th edition. Going to events, Skaven. Doing anything else, Skaven. So we'll have quite a bit of hobby content. I'll try to make as many hobby videos as I can in and around the army, and I'll make videos talking about my lists that I've come up with, why I'm doing this, what I've learned from playing these lists, and we'll slowly but surely try to create as much content around the army as I possibly can as I learn to play the army. Now, they're not essentially a meta list. They're not an army that is probably going to be out of my comfort zone. My comfort zone is very much Smash armies. So I think there's a little bit of, I think out of all of the armies that I've not done, I think the Skaven kind of fit nicely with, I can sort of dabble in little things like magic and prayers and stuff that's not basically Smash. I can still do the Smash because I have things like Storm Fiends, Rat Ogres, buffed up Clan Rats and Storm Vermin. And there's a pretty cool selection of miniatures for the painting side. So I think it's probably a good choice for me to do it. So, you know, and 0 to Hero is very much a, you know, Skaven thing. Because Skaven are kind of cool. So we're going to be doing Skaven. It's going to be an interesting journey. So what I'm going to do is, for this month, I will start getting hold of some models and start getting some painting content done. And I will get the book, and we will have do a video where we talk about the book, and I sort of pull apart what I can kind of pull out myself, just from reading it, and some of the little sort of combos and sort of synergies within the book, from what I can from what I can bring out, and then we'll go from there. So if you want to come along with this journey with me, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what army you would have chosen, or even if you want to join me in this challenge, you know, let me know in the comments section below if you're going to come along and join me in it. And yeah, and then we'll have a go. Now it's going to be a hard couple of years doing this. Like, obviously it's at least 2 years that potentially I have to achieve this goal. It should be quite fun. It'd be very interesting to see where the army is going to be by the end of the edition. I think it's quite fun, and maybe in 5th edition we could do something similar from day dot. So, you know, jump into an entirely different faction of one of my choosing, and then we can maybe go along that way. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be quite fun. It's going to be interesting getting back into playing Age of Sigmar again, and very much looking forward to seeing what the new General's Handbook and things like that bring in. And it's going to be fun getting back on the table to get to events and stuff like that. So, like I said, if you want to join me on this journey, like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. And I will catch you in the next video, and I will see you later. Bye-bye for now.